Hey David, how you doing? I'm going good. I'm going good. What's that? He's out of town, but I'm sort of going in. I gotta go in today. I'm gonna take a bit of an early day tomorrow. I got a few things going on, but nothing critical. He's out of town till almost the end of April. So yeah, it just sucks because Maddie's gone now and he's gone, and I knew it would be this way, but it's always Murphy's Law, when you want to spend time with something, people are there, and then, spring break started today for Maddie, from school, so they're off for 2 weeks, so it would have been perfect, but it's always the way, it's always something going on, and it's always changing, How are you doing? What's going on in your end of the world? So he put you on that app, WhatsApp? WhatsApp it is? Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, because she can't really text anymore. And that's basically like a Wi-Fi texting, so it doesn't go over cellular. So that's actually good that you can even call Maddie on that as well. Yeah, what I'll do is I'll look for you on it as well, and I'll get your code from it, or I'll tell Maddie to look for you, and that way she can you can text her, and if she's in Wi-Fi she can call you and FaceTime you the same as it is in FaceTime. Yeah, they have their own calling and FaceTime stuff built in within that app, She's doing good. She's doing good. I think she's still a little bit jet lagged. I think this weekend was a good, last week was her first full week, and it definitely picks up the pace, from what she, when you're only doing 2 hours here a couple of times, 3 times a week, and then you start doing 4 or 5 hours a day, and you're jet lagged, and you're getting home late, and you're it's tiring on her, yeah, but I think she'll be getting I think she had a couple of rough days where she just wasn't playing good, and she just wasn't settled, but I think that's getting better, so I think it should be good for her now. She should be getting better at that and getting used to it all, and getting into the rhythm of it, No, they just said, on Thursday, they said, maybe you should just come in the afternoon, which Dana agreed to, is just to make it a little bit easier and just take a little bit more time off and see how she goes this week, She might have to do the same again, take off one afternoon or one morning or something like that, where you just sleep in a little bit and recover a little bit, so, I've only ever seen photos of it. Barcelona is a really, beautiful city. They're sort of, Barcelona is a coastal city, and they're living down by the coast. But the tennis academy is sort of set back in a little bit from the coast. So they have like a 30 or 35 minute train ride to go from where they are to the academy, and then the academy has a shuttle bus that comes and picks them up, because there's a couple of other families that do the same thing. They all live in different areas, and they all come to that one central train station, and then they pick them up and bring them down to there. So, you know, I think it'll be good. I'm planning on going over in. I've got my ticket on the 3rd of May. I'm going to go over for 10 days. So I'm going to go from the 3rd to the 13th. Yeah, I'm going to leave here on the Friday. I get there on the Saturday morning. We'll have a few days in town. I'll probably watch her a couple of days. And then I'm thinking maybe on Wednesday we might like shoot up to London or something for a couple of days. You know, it's really cheap. You can fly from Barcelona to London direct for like, you know, $50, you know. So I'm thinking I'm just going to talk to Dina about what we could do that week, and you know, go up there that week, and you know, you could have a couple of days, see a bit of London, and you know, ride around on the Decker bus, you know, that double-decker bus, and you can jump on and jump off and just do the touristy things, you know, and see a little bit of London. And because it's not a sort of thing you want to spend, you know, 2 weeks there or anything like that, you know. Yeah, and it's really just a big city, you know. After a while, you like, it's like, okay, I've sort of seen that, done that, don't really need to go back. It's, you know, you don't want to spend, you know, it's like being in New York City. You can do it for a few days, but then you're like, okay, sort of not really need any more of this now. I might as well get out of here, sort of thing. So, yeah, so that's what I'm thinking of, is going over there for a few days and see how she's doing at tennis, and then I fly back on the Monday morning, first thing Monday morning, and get back here Monday night. So it'll be like a 10-day trip sort of thing. No, it'll be good. You know, it was I'm able to fly out of Santa Barbara with 2 changes. One to Phoenix, and then I think it was Phoenix to Charlottesville, I think it was Charlottesville in Charlotte, North Carolina, and that flies then direct to Barcelona, which I was very surprised at. Yeah, it is American Airlines for that. Yeah, it's a shared American-British Airways flight. So, yeah, out of there and then straight to Barcelona and direct into Barcelona. And then I think when I come home, it's like Barcelona to LaGuardia or something, and then the same back to Phoenix, and then Phoenix to Santa Barbara. So, go do a couple of stops. But if you drive to LA, I got to pay for parking, which is like $16 a day, and it's only like $100 more to fly out of Santa Barbara, $110 more. So it's sort of almost worth it, and I can just catch a cab here, and I don't have to drive and do that 2-hour drive on the way down and you know, get my car and go to the shuttle place and go backwards and forwards. And you know, it's different if somebody drops you off, but you got to be there, you know, 30 to 40 minutes before you want to even get to the airport, because you got to drop the car off and get the shuttle over and, you know, do all that and then check in. So here I can just get an Uber from home straight to the airport. It's $10, and then I'm on the plane and away I go. And the same when I get home. I get back at 8 o'clock on that Monday night, and I'm done. It's easy, you know. Just make it simple, you know. Yes. Yeah, and if it's only me, if you had 4 people and you had to pay, you know, $100 for every person, then, you know, you might catch the bus or you might do something like that. But, you know, just for me, for one person, to drive all the way down and do that, yeah, it's $16 a day to park your car there outside, you know, not undercover or anything like that, which I don't care about. But yeah, $16 a day. So when you look at that for, 10 days plus taxes, you know, it's 200 bucks, you know, plus the aggravation and the extra time. And I think it was $115 or $118 extra for the ticket. So I was just like, it's not worth it. You know, it's sitting out front of my in my driveway right now. I'm going to take it up to work this week and leave it at work when Tom's not here. And when Tom is here, I'm just going to bring it back to my house and put it on the street. So yeah, it's just sitting at my house basically now. No, she's just going to keep it. She was trying to see if somebody wanted, you know, needed a car or wanted to sublease it or something while she was away, and she didn't find anybody. You know, that's really lucky to find somebody who wants to take over your car for a short period of time, you know. She would, yeah, take a long time to get here. You know, so yeah, exactly, it wouldn't be worth it, you know, it wouldn't be worth it. And you know, so she'll be back, you know, she's going to be back, so she'll need it when she gets back anyway. So, you know, she's paying for it and it's not using it because it's a lease. But I'm like, well, what else are you going to do? That's the way it goes. You know, you can't just stop it and start it and, you know, give it back and everything else. You have to do that. And how's everything going with your health, David? How do you feel? Yeah, that's true. Well, there's nothing you can do, so you got to accept it. That's really all it is. You know, yeah, it's not the funnest of things, but yeah, all you can do is keep active and keep waking up in the morning. That's it, you know. Right. Okay, what are you going to do in Florida just to get out of... Right, sure. Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, definitely, yeah. And it's hard to make new friends. You know, it definitely is, you know. I've been going to this men's group for, I don't know, probably about 6 months, 7 months, probably a little bit longer. Probably started it like September, October last year. You know, it meets like twice a month, and they talk about, you know, men's problems and whatever else. But it's a good way just to connect to men, you know, because it's hard to build those social barriers, the social connections. I mean, yeah. As you get older, it's harder. You know, I find it with me. I have people that are friendly and you know, okay, that with me, but they're not, I wouldn't say they're, you know, great friends of mine. They're more acquaintances that I'm friendly with, people from Maddie's school or something like that. You know, I had a good friend of mine who moved away last year. And then I had another friend that I used to keep in contact with, and now he's traveling all the time, and I just don't ever get to see him. So it's hard to build those connections, you know. Yeah, and they don't necessarily, why they may be friends, they're not calling me up and saying, oh, hey, how are you? Do you want to get together type thing, you know? I see him at school and all that sort of stuff. And you know, when Dana and I were still married, we used to see a lot more of those couples. But when you then separate, there's a difference there that goes on, you know? They don't necessarily, I don't know, I don't necessarily know if they want to make the effort anymore, or they feel that it's weird to invite one of you and not the other one. But even Dina's noticed it with some of her friends that from Maddie's school. They definitely, since we separated, they definitely, you know, have drifted away a little bit. And everybody does their own thing, and you gotta sort of get used to that in a way, you know. So yeah, you know. Yeah, I don't know if they want to change friendships, or they don't know what to do, so they do nothing, or maybe it was because Dana was, you know, talking to the women and saying, oh, hey, do you want to get together and go and have, you know, dinner or something like that? And now that we're separated, Dana's not necessarily doing that because she was working so much. So, you know, you just sort of, I suppose, you realize who your friends really are by, you know, as things change, whether they keep in contact, you know. It's, you know, and it's probably the same for you now, is how many of your friends that were friends with you in Florida, that as soon as you move away, they no longer call you, they never talk, you know, or any of that sort of stuff, you know, where they were friendly and called you before, but now you move away, they don't call you at all. So yeah, I don't know why that happens, but it just seems to happen that way. That as soon as people, you know, move away or something like that, I suppose they think, oh, well, I'll call him next week and call him the week after, and next thing you know, it goes too long, and then you think, oh, well, it's been a long time since I've called, maybe that's weird now that I'm going to call. And yeah, it just seems to, the distance just seems to spread out more and more, and then you realize, oh, I haven't spoken to that person in a year now, and I thought they were a good friend, you know. Yeah, that could be true, you know. That could be true. Yeah. And I think that has probably been part of it, where I would rather they invited one of us instead of none of us, because at least one person was having that contact, you know. You know, I would rather, you know, I see some of Dana's sort of extended friends that she doesn't, you know, I say, oh, have you heard from them anymore? Nope. Did you talk to them? Nope. Nope, don't hear from them anymore. They don't call, they don't text, they don't do anything. She says, I'll see them at school and they're friendly, and then as soon as that leaves, nope. So, and maybe that's it. Maybe they don't want to know, maybe they don't want to offend me by asking her out, but I would rather do that, because then at least somebody's maintaining some sort of, you know, friendship and that as well. Yeah, I suppose from their point of view, they don't know who to. And it's pretty silly. I don't know, that's a bit silly, because I always look at it as they know that, you know, like if there's a couple and the wife contacts Dina, I know that that's what's going to happen. Like, I know that, and I'm okay with that. That's part of it. I knew she would contact her. So it's not like it's a shock to me or anything else, you know. But they seem to feel like it's something different, that it shouldn't be that way. And I'm like, well, of course you're going to contact her. Why wouldn't you? You know, you're friends with her, you know. So yeah, and of course I know that the woman's going to contact Dina because they were friends before. They're friends as well. So yeah, it's definitely a hard situation to do and to be in, and you know, I wasn't able to go to that group quite often in January and February because Tom was here. And you really notice it, you know. I really felt really isolated when he left, you know, and you know, I went the day they left. Actually, it'll be 2 weeks tomorrow that they've been, and it was the day they left. And then I'll go again tomorrow night. You know, it meets every 2 weeks, you know, on a Tuesday night, and I think that's a good thing to do, just to keep those guy friendships. And I was lucky enough that I reached out to one of them the other week at that other meeting and said, hey, you ever around to have lunch or something? And he's like, yeah, of course, you know. And we went and had lunch on Tuesday or Wednesday it was. We had lunch together. And to me, that's what I need, you know, to do that and get hold of that, you know. You know. Yeah, to keep those bonds going and everything else, you know, and do that, you know. Yeah, it's just what you need to do to you know, to feel part of something, you know. You feel disconnected, and then you get lonely, and you don't have that sense of community, you know. And I can see now why people live in like a retirement community, you know, because there's people around them. Like, you know, Rana's not necessarily in a retirement community, but at least she has a lot of retired people around her that they put things on at the clubhouse and things like that and everything. So, you know, that's a good thing to keep those social bonds, you know, going. And I think it's easier for women than men to keep those bonds going, you know. Yeah, and I think I think as well, a lot of guys don't put the effort in, you know, and you have to sort of put the effort in and put yourself out there, because if you don't, you just won't get any. You just get lonelier and lonelier, and then wonder why nobody's calling you or getting in touch with you. But it's going to happen because you're not putting yourself out there, you know. Well, I think it's just you're just not trying to keep the doors open. You just sort of say, oh well, you know, and you know, it's easy to do that. I didn't do a whole lot this weekend, you know. I watched a bit of TV, and you know, a friend invited me out to her place just to come over. A girl I used to work with, one of the chefs here at work, and you know, I just didn't really feel like it. I wasn't feeling so good, and I just thought, you know. But you've got to sometimes push yourself through those things and do that, so that you don't necessarily, you know, that you feel like that you're moving forward, you know, and doing that. So No, it'll never be the same, but you got to make a new reality, you know? It, yeah, well, yeah. Well, if I didn't have Madison, I probably wouldn't be here, you know? I'd probably be doing, you know, if I didn't have Madison, I probably wouldn't be here, and I probably would have done something else, or moved along, or moved out, or done something, because, you know, Maddie is the glue that holds me to Santa Barbara and to Dana. So yeah, if I didn't have Maddie, I don't know, I probably would have done something a lot different a long time ago, you know. Maybe would have gone back. Yeah, maybe would have gone back on boats, or something like that, or gone to Florida, and yeah, who knows what I would have done. But it's no going back on that, and everything else. So, but so your health is doing okay for now. You feel like you're stable. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well. Yeah. You know, you got to look at that your heart's pumping, you know, 50 beats or 60 beats a minute for a lot of years. So, you know, you got to, it slows your body down. You got to go with the slow, you know? Right. You're right. Right, right. And then do you hear from Barbara at all ever? Right. Oh well. Yeah. Yeah. No. No. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, be be good, and yeah, I'll tell Maddie when I talk to her in a couple hours that you're now on WhatsApp, and that she'll try and look for you, and I'll look for you as well. Well, you do it. You have to be on Wi-Fi to do it. Um, yeah, and then she has to be on Wi-Fi also. But yeah, it's basically, as long as she's in a Wi-Fi area. When you go into the app, and you click on the person's name, like where you see like Dana's name, at the very top, there's a picture of a little camera and a little telephone. So when you click on the picture of the little movie camera, that basically calls them for a Skype call, you know, a FaceTime call. And then when you click on the telephone, it just rings them on pure audio. So it's audio over internet. So it's voice over IP type thing. So yeah, it's a good system. It's really, really huge in China. That's where it became popular, because for some reason they didn't have lots of. It was really expensive for cell phone tower, for cellular. So people would text and call and all of that within WhatsApp. So they never, no one would text you on this and then Skype you on that and do that. They do everything just in WhatsApp. So it's quite a really popular app in China and everything else, and it seems pretty good. So, you know, yeah, that's all you can do is try and find it. I'm gonna see if I can. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna send you a thing today. I'll say hi, and I just put test in there. So I just sent that to you. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah, it arrived. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no problem. It's good to catch up and everything else. Okay. All right. Talk to you later. Bye now.